In this video, we're going to be going through the PortSwigger lab username enumeration via account lock. So this lab is vulnerable to username enumeration. It uses account locking, but contains a logic flaw. To solve the lab, enumerate a valid username, brute force the user's password, and access their account page. So PortSwigger gave us a list of usernames and a list of passwords. Let's go ahead and access our lab. Go to our login page. Put an invalid login through. We get this invalid username or password error message. Let's take note of that. Let's go over to Burp Suite. Let's go to Proxy, HTTP history. Scroll down to the bottom to see our most recent requests. And here we have our post login request, which contains the information that we're sending, which is going to be our login creds, which are our username and our password. So let's go ahead and let's test this out. Let's send it to a repeater. Let's hit send and we render. We see invalid username or password. Let's send it a couple of times and see if there's any difference in the error message. So let's go ahead and go over to that username list that we have. Let's copy that out. Go to a online tool duplicate list application. Now what this does is this duplicates certain items in the list. So what we want to do is we want to kind of see how many of these incorrect logins will trigger a different error message. The idea is that if the username does not exist, it will give you the same error message over and over again, which is this invalid username or password generic message. But if the username exists, then after a certain amount of attempts, it will give you a different message. So if we paste our list of usernames in here, we see a direct copy to the box on the right. So if we want to duplicate multiple entries, we're going to need to scroll down a little bit. There are these little boxes and radio buttons that we can switch on and off. Here we see we have apply a symbol delimiter. We want to apply a regex delimiter. And we're going to put /m for a new line. And we're going to also put /n here for a join symbol. So instead of getting commas, we're going to get new lines. Now we're going to go down to interweave items. And we can see in the example that if we concatenate the items, it's going to be ABC, ABC. So it's going to repeat the list over and over by the number of times that we have here. Or we can interweave items, which we have A, B, B, C, C. So what we want is we want to see how many of these entries actually it takes to trigger a different error message. So based on that logic, we're going to interweave the items. We can see that it's already starting to do what we want it to do. We can see Carlos, Carlos, root, root, admin, admin. What we want is we want 4 copies of this. So let's go back over into Burp and let's send this request to intruder. Let's go over to intruder. We can set this up so we can enumerate a username. Let's add a payload position to our username. And let's copy that list that we made and paste it into the payload configuration. We have 404 requests because there are 404 entries, since each of these entries repeats 4 times. Now, the last thing that we want to do is we want to get that error message to pop up so that we can see what's going on with the responses as they occur. So we're going to go down to this grep extract in our settings. We're going to extract the following items from the responses, add, and we're going to fetch the response. If we scroll down, we're going to look for that error message that we saw. So this invalid username or password. And what this does is it looks for whatever pops up in this section of the page. And so it's going to look for whatever's inside those tags. And we're going to say, OK. And that should be pretty much everything that we need to go ahead and enumerate the username. So we're going to start the attack. And now we see that we have the usernames being repeated over and over again. Let's reverse this so that the requests come in at the top. We're going to wait for a difference in the error messages that we're seeing. Let's go ahead and pause it. So now we can see that we have a different error message than the rest. All of these other ones have a length of 3240, and they have a warning message of invalid username or password. This one has "you have made too many incorrect login attempts," which signals that it is locking out based on the username having too many attempts, which means that the username is valid. We're going to try and see if we can get a password based on this username that we enumerated. Let's exit out of this and discard, and let's clear our payload positions. And we can set our payload position to our password. And now we're going to go to payloads, and we're going to clear the list, and we're going to go back over to passwords. Let's copy this list out and paste it in here. And our username was Oracle. And now we're going to try and see if we can get a difference in the error messages for the passwords. Let's go to the top so that we can see when the requests are coming in. And what we're most likely going to see is a break, either a difference in the error message itself or no error message at all. And then we can confirm by logging in with Oracle and whatever password is in the payload position. Pause it here. This is most likely going to be our password. If we take monitoring and that username that we enumerated and we try to log in, so Oracle and monitoring, we have successfully logged in as Oracle and we have solved the lab. That's pretty much everything. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.